Hello, my friends, and welcome to Yapping Session Part 3. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, and that would be my ceiling fan, which I have activated. I am also joined by a secondary, very special guest, and that would be the virus in my body that is currently inflicting me with illness. So, to start off, I would just like to say that I have never really understood the, term people use to refer to their friends, oomph, spelled OOMF. I get what it means, I just don't really get the appeal behind it. It's just one of those slang terms where I just don't use it and don't really particularly care for it. Like, I don't know, feel free to use it, I just don't really, get the appeal behind it. It's just, it's not the word for me. I much prefer terms that are I think one of my favorite terms to refer to a friend is probably just bro. Oh, look, my cat is also joining us today. That's fantastic. Yeah, I don't know, I just usually call my friends bro. Another really funny term is the term crody. I think that's hilarious. I don't use it as often because people don't really know what it means, but it is one of the funnier terms to refer to your friends. Anyways, as of recording this, it is March the 1st, though by the time it's uploaded, it'll probably be March the 2nd because it's very close to midnight. My birthday is in only a couple of days. I will be turning 18 and becoming an adult on March the 6th. So if you're watching us on March the 2nd, that's in 4 days. And yeah, that's pretty crazy. After nearly 18 years of being alive on this earth, I'll finally be an adult. And to be honest, I'm not really that excited. I don't feel much of anything about this. It's cool, I guess. I get to sign up for the U.S. draft so I can be sent to Iraq if we ever get into another war. That's cool, I guess. I can drink if I go to Mexico and get really drunk, but, drinking age is 21 in America. And I've never really wanted to get, drunk. I don't have much of an appeal for, alcohol. Everyone's had a little sip of beer from one of their dad's beers, but, I tasted it, and it's just so disgusting. So, when I am of legal drinking age, I don't think I'm ever going to, get drunk. It's a bad addiction to have, doesn't taste good, and, yeah, I just don't really get it. Yeah, so birthday. Yeah, I'm not really all too excited for my birthday, to be honest. In fact, a lot of my friends have been more excited for it than I have. People have been like, "Oh, are you doing anything special?" Well, every year on my birthday, I go to laser tag with my friends, and that's cool, I guess. I don't know if I'll be going with one of my friends this year because he is in college and hasn't really had that much time, hasn't spoken very often. I'll probably still go with my other friend and maybe invite a few others. I don't know. One of my little brothers, he's special needs, and he went to laser tag one time when we went to a place called Urban Air for his own birthday, and he's been really obsessed. And I feel this sort of moral obligation to take him with me, but I'm basically just turning my own birthday into sort of a babysitting session. And it's not what I want to do, it's what I feel morally obligated to do. As a good older sibling, I feel like if I don't do this, I'm not as good of a person. And I feel like that might be part of what's really taken the whole excitement out of this event for me. It could also just be that I'm not really all that thrilled to be growing up. Um, yeah. It's not that I'm scared to be an adult, it's that I'm just completely uninterested in it. For a lot of different parts of life, I just hold this complete apathy. I am not excited to get a job when I grow up. I'm not excited to go into any sort of career. There's not really a career that I think I'll be happy in that I can actually do because I'm sort of more of a math than an artistic guy. My writing's all right, but it's not really anything that could make me money. So the only thing that I can really make money off of is going to be my math skills. Physical labor is another thing, but honestly, in this economy, you're screwed over if all you can do is physical labor. You have to do something that requires a lot of brain power to make any sort of a decent living. That's just the economy and world we live in. So I'm going to college to be a nuclear operator, and I'm probably going to be working in the power plant that's by Bay City. I have always been a really big fan of nuclear energy. I like the environmental impact that it can have in like getting rid of fossil fuels, and it's really safe, clean, and efficient. I really think it's the future. So my job is mostly ideology based, but also nuclear operators do make a good chunk of money. I don't think I'm going to have fun at this job. I think I'm going to hate this job a lot, but there's not really a job for me that I won't hate. So, yeah. But before that, I'm obviously going to have to go to college, which I'm also not really that excited about. It's just going to be 2 more years of high school, to be honest, though with a bit more leniency. Apparently, the course that I have to take for the degree I need is going to be 60 hours total, and that's really not that crazy. I looked at the course list. Some of it might even be covered by the AP classes I'm already taking in high school. For the first semester, it mentioned having to take either college algebra or pre-calculus, which is a little bit crazy because in high school right now, I'm already taking AP calculus. I took pre-calculus last year, and that was advanced pre-cal, not regular. So honestly, that credit might even be covered if I'm able to talk to someone about it. There's also Composition 1, which I'm hoping can be covered by either AP Lit or AP Language. I'll talk more about AP Literature later because it's a topic that, it's something I want to talk about. But yeah, I don't know. Adulthood doesn't scare me. I'm not sad about it. I'm not upset about it. I'm just kind of not excited about it. Have a sort of empty feeling when it comes to the idea of being an adult. Like, yeah, that's cool, I guess. Everyone else around me thinks it's a bigger deal than I think it is, which, you know, sure, yeah, I'm an adult. Or I'm going to be an adult March the 6th. That's a crazy big deal, but, like, is it really? I'm not going to wake up on March the 6th and feel any older. I'm not going to feel like an adult more so than I already do. I'm going to be the same exact person, and nothing is going to change. And I'm just really not that thrilled about the idea of being an adult. Actually, I kind of believe that as life has gone on, every year I've gotten a little bit less happy, a little bit more unsatisfied with life. And I don't think that trend is going to reverse anytime soon. So in a way, birthdays aren't really that big of a celebration for me. They're more of just an excuse to do something fun for a single day. For one day, everyone treats you like you're more important than you actually are. And I guess that's the whole appeal of having a birthday party, if you can call what I do a party, since I kind of just go with a few friends to laser tag and have fun for a day. I haven't really gotten a birthday cake in a long time, and nobody really knows what kind of presents to get me anymore, so I usually just get cash or Steam cards. With Christmas, I've mostly been getting cash and Steam cards. I did get, like, some Lego sets from my parents and Jujutsu Kaisen pajamas, which was pretty funny. because I had watched the anime with my parents, so they knew I liked it. And I think gifts like that are cool, but I know that now that I'm older, I'm not really going to be getting more of that type of gift. I'm going to be getting more cash, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that as you grow up, you sort of lose a lot of the whole magic behind, like, getting presents and getting super excited over it. You can tell by the tone of my voice that I'm not really excited for a whole lot right now. Um, I kind of just exist now. I'm going to keep existing. And when I turn 18, nothing about that existence is going to be any different. So, yeah. It's just gonna be my birthday, and nothing, that's not going to change anything besides a whole lot of legal paperwork that has to be filled out. That's all that's going to change. It's going to make getting my learner's permit a lot harder because, yes, I have somehow failed to learn how to drive before turning 18. And I'm going to have to, selective service, get signed up for that. Paperwork is going to have to be like going through me now instead of my parents. I don't know how this affects healthcare, health insurance. I know that my parents can't get tax write-offs from me anymore. Thankfully, I am not getting kicked out at age 18 like a lot of people are, because I know that that happens to lots of people as soon as they turn 18, and I don't really think that's the best way to handle things in this type of economy. We're becoming a country that has a lot less disposable income. A lot of people aren't really making enough money to make ends meet. I have two friends online that I know that are actually, like, don't have a place to live right now. Well, one of them won't have a place to live in a few days and has to move out. The other is just actively homeless, living in her car. And it's it just goes to show the type of world I'm about to grow up into. I I'm going to go to college and get a degree in nuclear engineering to become a power plant operator, not because the job is fun or I think I'm going to enjoy my life, because I don't think it's going to be that enjoyable. I think it's going to be just as unenjoyable as most of life is for me. And I'm going to make money, a lot of money, because that's a very lucrative job. That's the main primary reason I want that job, because it's lucrative. Because this is a world where you can't be anything you want to be. You have to do something that makes a lot of money or you will live uncomfortably. You will struggle to make ends meet. You will struggle to pay for your house. You will struggle to have a car. So I'm doing something lucrative that involves math, and I don't know how much math the actual job will involve. Probably not much. It's probably just going to be sitting around all day and watching the plant do basically nothing. But it's still a lucrative position, and I think part of that might just have to do with the fact that you have to work really late hours every day, and because it's just not really a position a lot of people are interested in, because lots of people are very afraid of nuclear power, so I'm getting a job that a lot of people consider dangerous, even though it really isn't. So I think that's part of why so much pay goes into it, because nobody really wants this job. I don't think it's going to be that much worse than AP Literature has been for me, though. Last year, when I was a junior of high school, I took AP English Language and had one of the best teachers I've ever had. She's one of the people that really inspired me to get better at writing and increase my writing skill and work on writing. I felt motivated because of this class, and it was the class teaching the nonfiction parts of English, the language composition. I increased my vocabulary in this class, learned to word things better. It was mostly essays, yet somehow I didn't get burned out writing all these essays. Something about the way she was teaching the class just made it fun and an interesting, good class. So I signed up for AP English Literature, thinking it would be more of the same good experience. And I was greeted, and I'm still being greeted by it because I haven't passed or like gotten out of this class yet. I'm still in this class because I don't graduate for another couple of months. AP Literature has been one of the most awful, miserable experiences of my life. I am overreacting when I say that I have considered suicide multiple times following taking this class. That is an overreaction, but it's the truth. I have never felt this empty and hollow than when I have been taking this class. I have struggled more and more to find motivation to keep writing after like taking this class. The teacher just has single-handedly crushed any soul and passion I had for writing. I struggled to open a Google Doc and just type. In November, I was able to crank out 60,000 words over Thanksgiving break alone because I was just so hyped and motivated. But then, just, I've just been struggling so much ever since I started getting into this class more and more. I've had so much homework to deal with. She assigns a writing assignment every single day for homework, most of the time making them due at 5 p.m. as an online assignment, meaning because I get home close to 5, I barely even have time to do these assignments, so I'm having to turn them in late, which has really been a struggle. I have a lot of missing assignments for this class, and I don't have the motivation to do them. I've had to do assignments for this class in other classes and take other teachers' time to deal with this one teacher's assignments because there's just so much busy work that's getting assigned. It's not anything interesting or new. It's not any challenging or difficult assignments. It's just busy work. It's just assignments designed to take a lot of time to do, mindlessly typing away into a Google document. And it has ruined all motivation that I have. It has made me miserable. I feel so empty whenever I walk into this class. And it sucks because one of my main sources of joy was writing stories for my friends that I would post and then they would react to it and we would talk about what is going on in the story. And I'd have all these plot twists and schemes planned out, so they would always be on the edge of their feet, like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen next. This story is really taking me for a loop here. I don't know, guys. And it was a fun experience, but I'm just struggling so much to keep writing now that I've had to do so much homework for this class. I'm just so burnt out and tired. A lot of people are going to listen to this and think I'm just whining, overreacting, like it doesn't really matter. Just suck it up and get through it. And yeah, I have been getting through it as best I can. But that doesn't make me any happier, does it? No, not at all. Sucking it up doesn't make me happy. Stoic people aren't happy. They're just happy on the outside and internally miserable. And that's how I feel a lot of the time. Like I'm putting on a show of being happier than I actually am. When in reality, I'm really not that happy. A lot of the time, I'm just kind of empty. apathetic about things. I try to joke around with friends and have a good time because that cheers me up a lot of the time. But this class has just really killed my mood. It's gotten me so tired and worn out. Sometimes I'll come home after a day of crunching away at one of this class's assignments, and I'll just throw myself on the same chair I'm sitting on now and fall asleep for an actual hour. I'm just so tired. And I've been spending a lot more time alone, just sitting there thinking. I sat there for an hour on, I believe it was Friday, yesterday. I just sat there for an entire hour just thinking. I take really long showers, kind of just sitting there looking at the floor, just considering things. And most of the time, weeks ago, I would have been in the shower thinking about writing, thinking about what I'm going to do next in my story, to really throw everyone for a loop, to get them excited, thinking, I don't know what's happening next in this story, I can't wait to read more. Now I've just been thinking about life, thinking about the fact that I'm not happy. I don't know how to become more happy. I don't know. That's not really a thing you can do. You can't just force yourself to become more happy. I hope that I become a lot, like my mood can improve over spring break, because I feel like what I need is just a break from this teacher. Her class is just miserable. And I think that's just what I need, just a break. Spring break, going to get back to writing stories. Won't have any essays or assignments that I have to worry about, unless, God forbid, she decides to assign something over spring break, which I wouldn't really be surprised about. It's scarily in character. I think spring break lasts more than a week because, junior year of high school, I had gone on a cruise that was a week long over spring break, so it has to last longer than a week. Probably, I think. I'm not really sure. Either way, that's a lot of time to just clear my head of all the negativity that this class has brought upon me. Just get back into the swing of things, like writing, having fun, and just not having to worry about this class. It's just a lot of stress, and I can't wait to get away from it all. I will probably still spend a lot of time alone because dealing with my mom is a lot of stress a lot of the time. I used to actually really enjoy being in high school away from specifically my mom, because at high school I don't really have to deal with her a lot of the time. She's not a bad person, it's just sometimes she says a lot of things that affect me really badly. I don't know if she knows that these things affect me. I don't know if she cares if she does know. And basically, she'll get mad at a completely unrelated thing and take that anger out verbally on me and my siblings by yelling, getting really angry at everyone. She yelled at me the other day and called me useless because I put the clothes from the washing machine into the dryer and started it on the setting that said it would dry the clothes, and it didn't. And that was my fault, apparently. And she said I'm useless and can't even do the laundry correctly. That was... It's just difficult dealing with her a lot of the time. One of the things she said that affected me the absolute most was when she said I was a mistake and she didn't really mean to give birth to me, and she had considered getting an abortion. I don't think she remembers saying that, but she did, and I think about that a lot. It wasn't my favorite quote from her of all time, as you can probably tell. Sometimes I think about that. What if she had gotten that abortion? I wouldn't be here today. But isn't that just kind of the same end result of suicide, but without ever having known you could have been alive? This brings me back to Hamlet. I related a lot to Hamlet and enjoyed reading it for the most part and up until the end, specifically because I relate to the character Hamlet. The wordy way he talks, the fact that he, ponders so much about life and death, the meaning of life. I think he, as a character, is kind of insane. Genuinely mad. But I still relate to him so much in that madness. And I feel like I would have enjoyed the story more without the ending and without the way my teacher makes us read this story, with all of the over-analyzing and essay upon essay. The story in and of itself was enjoyable. I liked it, even though the ending was subpar. It's not that great of a story, but I still enjoyed it just because Hamlet was such a relatable character. He's a teenager. He says completely, vulgar things a lot of the time, but he speaks in an intelligent way while doing so. And one of the takes he had that resonated with me a lot is the fact that a lot of us want to kill ourselves, but because of our faith, we believe that we will go to hell for doing so. So we just keep going with life. I do have Christian faith, and I do believe killing yourself sends you to hell, which is why I have not done it. And that is my primary main motivation for not killing myself in any given moment. Though I do consider it a lot. One of the most interesting thoughts I have about it is how people will react and speak about me when I am gone. It's the one piece of information you can't really genuinely know. How people will react to your death. What the funeral will look like. What people will say when they know that you can't ever hear them ever again. Will I be remembered fondly after death, or will I be remembered as just a nobody? Will I be remembered at all? If I were to kill myself right now, would people understand why? Would they say I was a coward for doing so? Would they say I overreacted and I had a great life and threw it away? It's just an interesting topic to think about. I can't wait for 5 days from now, when I turn 18 and absolutely nothing changes about life. And for every day, my life to just get slightly more miserable. Unnoticeably so, until I think back and I wonder, why was I so much happier back then? The only time that really breaks free from this linear growing misery is elementary school. I was miserable in elementary school due to constant bullying having no friends, and being socially outcasted. That was one of the worst points in my life because others made it so horrible for me. I think bullying is really horrible. And I think people who actively try and socially outcast others for no good reason are some of the most despicable beings in our entire society. These people that find the quiet kid in the corner who's already down and just beat him further and further down. It's the type of behavior that creates school shooters. And people will wonder, why did he do it? A lot of the time, school shooters will have been kids who were socially outcasted and beaten down by all of their peers. Don't take this as me saying I'm ever going to shoot up my school. I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. Though sometimes people do say that they think I'm going to do that. That is a comment I'd gotten a lot, I believe, in sophomore and freshman year. I was a new kid to this high school because I moved from Washington to Texas after 7th grade, or like in the middle of 8th grade, and just completed the rest of 8th grade online since it was the middle of COVID anyways. So freshman year, I was very new to the school and didn't know anyone there. A lot of people didn't really want to hang out with me. I was seen as different because I act weird. I'm different from everyone else. I act differently. Which I can partially tie back to the fact that I was homeschooled before, like for most of elementary school, I was homeschooled. And because of that, my social skills have always been a little bit stunted. And it's made it difficult to fit in with everyone else and keep friends. Though it wasn't as bad in middle school as it was in elementary school, and it wasn't as bad as in high school as it was in middle school. A lot of people would tell me that I give off the vibe of a school shooter and that they think that if anyone were to shoot up the school, it would be me. And it really has just got me thinking. If you were to assume that you think someone was going to shoot up the school, why would you continue to try and socially outcast them and treat them as different? Why would you do that? Out of all of the possible reactions you could have to someone you believe is dangerous and could take your life, why would you try to treat them horribly? It doesn't make any sense. You'll see all of these memes online in these comments where they'll be like, oh yeah, that kid's so socially awkward. I bet he's the next school shooter. He's the quiet kid, all right. Why is it such a trope that people will see this kid they label as the quiet kid and relentlessly bully this person and target them so much? If you believe that because of the bullying you've inflicted upon someone, that they might do something dangerous, wouldn't you want to stop? There was a kid I knew. He was a grade above me, so he's graduated now, and I never have to see him again, who was very socially awkward, and he was a kid on the heavier side. And a lot of people would make fun of him. And he's very autistic, acts strangely. I don't agree with bullying this kid. I think that's a really horrible thing. I have actually bought him a soda before. He was upset one day and acting really angry because he didn't have money on his account to be able to get a soda. And I was like, okay. And I bought him the Diet Coke he wanted. He was like, thank you, bro. And that felt really good, just doing something kind for someone. Someone that you know nobody else has ever been kind to. Someone who is so beaten down by society that you never see anyone talking to them. They're just the completely outcasted, always alone person. And I saw this guy, and I decided to do something nice for him. And I hope he remembers that. I hope that that act made him a happier person. I think it's a great thing when you see someone that is so beaten down by life, and you just do these little acts of kindness to try and make their day better. Just anything that you think will help them. And if everyone had more of that mindset, I think we'd have a lot less of these like mass killers and shooters. I think if everyone saw that quiet kid and instead of poking fun at him, making jokes about him, helped him out socially, like just help him talk to someone. Talk to him, be his friend. But no, social rules don't allow it. You are seen as weird if you hang around people who are seen as weird. So nobody wants to hang out with the weird, quiet kid, and they have no friends because everyone's too scared to go do something kind for them. I don't care about how people view me. I don't care about my social standing. And I will buy a soda for that quiet kid just because I want to do something kind for someone who has been beaten down by life. When I was in elementary school, you already know that I didn't really have a lot of friends. But one of the friends I did have was this special ed child who everyone bullied and made fun of constantly. It was kind of two outcasts coming together as friends. And it was tough because a lot of the bullying these people would do would be like trying to claim that I said something about him to make him not want to be my friend anymore. Just doing anything they can to make him have no friends. And I think the fact that people treat, like, moving on to a new topic here, special ed kids are treated so poorly by everyone, by their caregivers, by their parents, by their peers. Special ed people are so beat down by life. And something I absolutely admire about a lot of these people I see with Down syndrome is just how happy they are in spite of this. I see these special ed kids get so relentlessly bullied every day of their lives, pushed down by society, forced into other classrooms away from everyone else, and treated like freaks. And yet, they will still act so kind and polite to everyone around them and act like everyone who they see is their friend. It's beautiful. It's one of the most inspiring things I have ever seen. The fact that this group of people is so beat by life, and yet every day they continue to be positive and kind. That is just so wonderful. And I don't know, it's just society treats Down syndrome people as if they're these monsters. We make up slurs to insult them. We call them stupid. And nowadays, the US government is currently looking for ways to defund special ed classes to force them to be even dumber and stay at home away from everyone else. They're trying to de-educate these people, force them away from everyone else, just shove them into some corner in their parents' house to never see the light of day. People don't want to see these kids. They want them pushed away from everyone else, isolated. And yet they don't really ever show any signs of sadness from this. They have it worse than so many other people, yet act like they are absolute kings on top of the world. And I admire that. I really do. I admire that the fact that people have it worse than me. They have less friends than me. They are forced into some corner. They are want to be society wants to forget these people and pretend like they don't exist. I have it so much better than these people, yet I'm so much more miserable than them, and I really respect them for that. I respect people with Down syndrome for fighting so hard, and, like, it's a struggle for them. Everything we learn is so much more difficult for them to learn, and yet a lot of them keep trying, and a lot of them will never have friends and will always be treated differently by society, yet they never treat you poorly. They'll never reciprocate the amount of hatred they get, and that's so beautiful. I will never bully Down syndrome people. I don't like doing that. I think it's a horrible thing to do such a thing. Just absolutely terrible. And the people that do go out of their way to try and make the lives of people with Down syndrome worse are absolutely despicable people that I just can't respect. There's nothing there to respect. And another thing on that. Our government is so bad and just blatant about how much they want to stop Down syndrome people from getting any sort of equal chance at life. And that's horrible. They are trying so badly to cut the funding for these classes. The Down syndrome children that go to the school system I'm currently in aren't even allowed recess. They don't get recess. And that's partially because the school refuses to fund fencing in the schoolyard. So the regular kids can go outside and play in the field. No playground, by the way, just a field. And the Down syndrome kids can't because they're like, oh yeah, there's no fence, so they can't go outside ever. Sorry, guys. Why can't they just build a fence? Did you know that you can run for mayor in most areas at age 18? I have been planning for a while now that next time we are electing a mayor for our town, I will run for mayor despite being so young, campaigning solely on the idea that I will build a fence and a playground at the elementary school so the Down syndrome kids can have recess. That is an absurd topic change, I know, but I feel strongly about this topic, and I want to get into the gritty, nitty-gritty of our politics in our local community just so I can campaign for this one small change. The school will spend so much money renovating gyms, building new stadium lights, and doing anything for sports, but they won't drop even a dime to fence in the elementary school so the kids can see these Down syndrome children can go outside and play and have their own recess. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with our school system? Why are schools in America so absolutely backwards and corrupt? It's one of the most horrible things. And, like, we are still trying to cut funding for schools, and they're already so unwilling to fund literally anything that isn't sports. They are spending so much money on sports, yet can't drop even a dime to build a fence around an elementary school. I don't think that's even legal. I'm pretty sure, last I checked, there was a law in the Texas guidelines for constructing schools that states you need to have a wall around the school to avoid dangerous people coming in. Like, this isn't even just about the fact that the sped kids don't get recess. Any dangerous individual could just walk up on the school, and the front of it is made entirely out of glass. They could just shoot right through, get in, and kill everyone. There is absolutely no safety to be had here, and it's just ridiculous. The fact that the elementary school, they are incapable of building a simple fence for safety reasons, but then the high school will just randomly renovate their entire football stadium because apparently the most important thing for a school is football. Have you ever thought about that? Every single social event, the popularity of a school, even the pep rallies, it's always about football. This is a school. It's for learning. It's not a sports team, damn it. Oh my god. And I've heard stories where schools will spend so much money on their sports because they think they're going to make money back selling tickets. Because, yes, that's the whole scheme going on here. They're investing lots and lots of money into sports so they can sell tickets to try and make money out of it. And, ooh, I wonder where that money goes. Probably into somebody's pockets. There are schools that have spent so much money on sports that they didn't have any money left to spend it on anything else. Did you know that at the beginning of the year for my high school, there was no food for the culinary classes because they hadn't thought to buy any? Did you know that they, after cutting the computer science class, I was taking computer science class freshman year and sophomore year. Well, because they couldn't find a teacher for it and didn't want to keep paying for it, they just cut the class entirely. So I was missing out on one of my 4-year elective classes. I had to get thrown into some random elective that I didn't even pick. And they tried to get rid of the film class I'm in, so I marched my ass right up to the school board and I debated them. I was like, why are you cutting the film class? This is absolutely ridiculous. You can't just get rid of one of the electives. I would have no elective to take because I already had one of my 4-year electives cut, and they were planning on cutting my second 4-year elective. I would have no, concluding class for this 4-year course that's supposed to last 4 years. The other one, I only got 2 years of it. Half of the required class, half of it was just gone like that. I had to take tech theater instead. I didn't care for that class. It was such a nothing class. And that was probably because I was only taking it 1 year as a junior in high school when you're supposed to start as a freshman. Whoa, that's such a crazy thing to think about. They just shove kids in random electives when they cancel one of their electives. You don't really get to pick what you go to because they don't really tell you that they're about to cut it. But I was able to go complain to the school board about them cutting film because they couldn't keep it a secret. Our film teacher told us what was happening. They were trying to keep it a secret. They were trying to make it so none of us knew a thing. We were told only on one of the last few days of schools after we had already signed up to take it for the final year. That is scummy. That is despicable. That is just horrible. But no, I went right up to the school board and I complained about it. Not only did I complain about it, I caught them in the act doing something illegal. The school board building, it's supposed to be open meetings. Anyone is allowed to walk in. But they locked the doors. The only reason I was able to get in was because one of the random side doors was accidentally propped open with a piece of, a little roll of tape from some janitorial maintenance employee leaving it there because they didn't want to have to use their keys. I was only able to get into the school board meeting, which is legally supposed to be unlocked for anyone in the town. They were trying to keep it closed. I don't know why, but they were caught right there doing something illegal. I checked the law. So, I asked them, you should give me my class for another year because there are dozens of people signed up for it, and you are trying to take the elective right out from under their feet without even giving them a chance to sign up for something else. And guess what? We got put in a random building, random class in the science building. We got our old class, we're not allowed to use that anymore. With the green screen room that was made entirely out of green screens. Yeah, no, we're not using that anymore. We're using some random science building class. We don't have all of the, over 20 computers we had either. We only have, 5 computers now. So yeah, they heavily downgraded what we even have. And we have to walk all the way over to the AVS building to get any of our cameras or equipment every single day. But I got the class back, even if it's just for 1 year and only 2 class periods out of the 8 is that class. Nobody else is allowed to sign up for it because they're cutting it next year. So all of the AV1 and principals of AV kids were screwed. And if you get screwed over as a freshman for this, good luck getting any other elective, because they give priority for every single elective to freshmen. So all of these students that were taking AV their freshman year are just screwed. They are completely screwed. And they're screwed right now because they were taking it freshman year, and then it got dropped right out from under their feet. And now, as a sophomore, they were probably thrown into some random elective and will be completely unable to get any sort of certificate from a 4-year course. The school has screwed them over because they decided that we're just going to cut this film class because who cares? It's a lot of money. We don't want to spend money on this. We want to spend money on football and other sports. We want to spend money remodeling the gym and putting our logo right in the middle of it. Big, fancy, polished wood. New basketball gym. Why not? Oh, and they're taking out a $2 million bond to build entirely new buildings for the high school. Yet they can't find it in their hearts or wallets to build a fence or playground for the elementary school. Wow, isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just so funny? Ah, that's so amazing. Yet they claimed that they couldn't afford any of our classes because they had such a cut in taxpayer funding. You know why they had such a cut? Because they had to give money back to a taxpayer who was a solar panel company he had a lot of land. This company had a lot of land and they were paying a lot of taxes on it. But apparently we were overtaxing them as if all of the land was in our town and not part of it being in a different county. So we had to give lots of money back. And of course, that's property taxes, so it was directly ripped out of school funding when it was the government's mistake. Because yes, when the government makes a mistake, they don't have to suffer consequences. That would be ridiculous. The consequences are shoved right onto the younger generation, and it's in the form of making their education worse. Because why not? We love doing that. We love shirking off all of the responsibility by ruining schools even more. As if American schools aren't already some of the worst schools in the world. Our education system, I don't know why it's so messed up. I don't know how it's so messed up, and I don't know how to make it better. I just know that Americans are some of the dumbest people in the world, despite our schools being some of the most expensive on taxpayer dollars. Did you know that? American schools cost more money to run than most of the schools around the world, yet do worse at educating students. I don't know why. Maybe it's the fact that we don't do anything meaningful and the teachers just kind of say how to do it once and then throw a ton of busy work at you. Maybe that's not the most optimal way to teach. I don't know. What do I know? I'm only someone who's completely made miserable by my stupid AP literature class. God, I hate that class. I want to burn it to the ground. Oh, yeah, so $2 million bond to build new high school buildings. Because why not? You know, why not? We need it so badly, obviously. Ignoring that we have a completely unused building right now. And ignoring that every single class has their own spot and everything fits. No. It looks old, so we have to tear down all the buildings and make new ones. Oh. Yet, nobody ever thought we should put a fence around the elementary school so bad people can't get in and the students can't get out. They couldn't put a wall around the middle school either. That was too much work. You know what they did instead? So the middle school, the cafeteria, has this absolutely enormous glass window overlooking one of the streets. Just anyone could walk up to it during lunch and just open fire right through that glass and kill dozens of people. You know what they did? They erected a large brick wall in front of the window. Okay, just think about that for a moment. They put a giant brick wall just in front of that window. You could still just walk onto the school property and get close to the window and then shoot through it. But, yeah, they just put a brick wall in front of the window. They didn't wall in the perimeter of the school. No, that's ridiculous. Why would you ever think to do such a thing? Obviously, we're just going to put a really big brick wall in front of the giant glass window. Because, yeah, that's the best option, apparently. So, yeah, that's what they did for the middle school. For the high school, we just have this, like, iron bar fence thing. Legally speaking, fences are supposed to be brick walls around the school that you can't stick a gun barrel through. But, that's a lot of work, and the schools are kind of just legally grandfathered in. So they don't have to worry about making fences. No, they're older buildings. They don't have to worry about anything. If they ever did renovations, they would have to worry about it. So my guess is that as soon as these $2 million renovations in the high school go through, it's going to get a brick wall, but none of the other schools are going to. Because why not? Who cares? Who cares about the elementary schoolers? Who cares about the sped kids that aren't ever allowed to go outside for recess and wouldn't have a playground to play on anyways? Who cares about all them? We need to renovate the high school and throw millions of dollars at it for no reason. You know what else we need to do? We need to throw more money at football because sports are cool and sports deserve all the money, all of the school funding. You know what else I think we should do? I think we should stop giving out free school lunches because fuck poor people. We hate poor people. We want poor people to go hungry. We want them to have to spend all of their money on food and have no money left for anything else. My friend told me one of the dumbest takes in the world the other day. When we were talking about it was like National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo, whatever. I was like, wow, their website's fucking stupid because they said they support AI because poor people can't write novels or something like that. And they said that if you don't support AI, you're classist and ableist or something. And I told this to my friend, and he's like, yeah, poor people shouldn't be writing books anyways. They should be spending their time making money so they're not so poor. Oh my god, what a horrendously out of touch take. Ah, yes, if you're poor, you deserve to have absolutely zero free time. You should spend all of your time working, so maybe you won't be so poor. This isn't a reflection on our society and the fact that wages have been horrendously outpaced by the increased cost of living. No, that's not a reflection on anything. You're just poor and stupid, and you should work harder. Because obviously, you can work harder and become someone who lives comfortably. Ignoring that the only way to get a good job nowadays is through school, and school has become more and more expensive and worse at actually teaching anyone anything. And of course, our current government administration wants to make schools even worse. They want to introduce vouchers, which means that you get to pick which school your taxpayer dollars go towards. That sounds good until you realize the only thing it accomplishes is making it so rich people's tax dollars don't go towards any public schools that poor people go to. What does this mean? Well, it means poor people's schools get even worse and rich people's schools get even better. Why does that matter? Well, they're literally trying to create an illiterate working class. They're trying to make it so you can't just work harder to become less poor. You can't just get good. No, you have to be poor. Oh my god. I really want to run for mayor. I think it would be funny if some random young guy fresh out of high school just got elected as mayor on the campaign promise of building a playground for sped kids. And if I did just that and nothing else, it would be so funny. It would be the craziest thing ever, wouldn't it? If I got elected as mayor in my little local town of bumfuck nowhere shithole and got elected as mayor just to build a playground for the sped kids. Because I think they deserve it. I think they should be allowed to have their own recess where they can play on the playground. And I think they should have a fence so nobody in the elementary school has to worry about anyone dangerous ever potentially getting them. I have been talking for nearly an hour. Half of this was suicidal ranting and half of this was hating the government, just as yapping sessions should be. This was Yapping Session Part 3, the birthday edition. You can tell that I'm passionate about the topic of sped kids needing a playground because my voice went from the most depressed, soulless husk ever to the most passionate political leader this land has ever seen. I will be the best mayor that this town has ever seen. I spun around in my chair so hard, my foot hit the glass window, and it kind of hurts a little bit, but not as much as the sped kids are hurting from being unable to have a recess on their playground. Goodbye, and I will see you in whenever part 4 is. Maybe that'll be next weekend. Oh my god, it's the train! Can you hear it? And my cat is like crashed out, falling asleep on the floor. That is funny. Goodbye.